So just a little more detail on what's inside of the appliance. So if we look over here on the top right-hand side, you'll see the name Zia SAP Archiving Appliance. And then just if we open the hood or kind of double click on that, these are some of the business capabilities that are bundled into the appliance. And this is kind of what I've been touching on. So full content management, the ability to have viewer capability in SAP. So this gives you the ability to do things like perform annotations, redactions, etc. inside of SAP. So what we do is we have a module or a transport actually that goes into SAP, and we replace the view capability for attachments or Fiori tiles for document lists, etc. We replace that with our viewer capability, and our viewer capability is a full viewer technology that offers all of those things such as redaction, annotation, etc. So a lot of extra power, regardless of whether you're in SAP or using our native front-end application. It exists in both places. So SAP users benefit from this technology, but also you can benefit from this technology even if you're accessing that same content outside of SAP. So if you're using the appliance viewer technology or SAP, both have the same capability. And then some of these other things that we were talking about, like records management, governance, and so on, all of the technical components and the applications are built into the appliance to allow for this type of thing. So data mining, the ability to parse print lists, section break print lists, and provision them, and also provide access, like I was talking about, from other third-party applications into that print list data is all within the capability of the appliance. That's another differentiator. So in most instances, other archiving solutions, they'll allow you to take a print list as it exists in SAP, and you can move it into their archiving server, and you can have access to it, but only as it existed at that time. In other words, the ability to break it up, parse it differently, and even serve it out to other applications typically doesn't exist. But with the technology that we've got integrated here and included in the appliance, we have the capability to fully parse that data, section break it, and provide access to it based on an access control list or based on API calls. So it takes something that's pretty kind of standard and generic in SAP and allows us to really business enable that content without having to do any type of report programming or report creation in SAP. So we can take kind of like a pretty big generic dump of everything that you want in a print list, throw it over into our server, and then we can manipulate it to provide you with more intelligent content outside of SAP. So that's kind of what I'm talking about down here on the bottom right, just in terms of like the double click of what is included in the bill of materials or in the application appliance. And then what you'll see here is the normal integration with SAP. And so we are SAP certified for both ECC as well as S/4HANA, and we're certified for both of the integration methods, so Archive Link as well as ILM. So if you're developing your records retention lifecycle in SAP, we can certainly handle that capability and handle the metadata exchange for that content as well. The other piece that's bundled into the appliance is this piece that you're seeing over here, and this is an SAP transport. It's an ABAP program, and this allows us to do document migration. And what that does is basically it's a technology that scans all of the SAP tables, and it will find any content, documents, attachments that have been stored either accidentally or in many instances on purpose into the SAP cluster tables. And we find that content and we can extract it and move it over to the SAP archive server. And the other benefit of this, and part of what we have built into the managed service, is performing this type of cadence on a regular basis, typically quarterly. For the first year, we might do it monthly. or bi-monthly, but then we would typically move to kind of a quarterly cadence where we would run an analysis on your SAP system to ensure that we're capturing all of the corners and the nooks and crannies where users might find the capability to store attachments or content. And we'll make sure that we set that up and enable it so that moving forward, we pull that content out of the SAP database, but also moving forward, it will just automatically be redirected. So a lot of capability here, and the benefit, as I was talking about kind of right out of the gate, is the ability to deploy into your existing tenant, regardless of which one you chose. So AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, wherever you decide to, if you're doing a private SAP tenant in one of the clouds or using Rise with SAP, we set the appliance inside of your existing tenant. So that's another pretty significant differentiator. It, just peace of mind, puts it under your existing security umbrella. The other thing that it does is gets rid of ingress and egress. So instead of going from one region or one cloud tenant to another one, we're just sitting directly inside of your tenant next to SAP. And that helps improve the performance as well, right? Because we're just a subnet that's registered directly inside of your tenant.